Well, a warm welcome to anyone joining. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and get yourself ready. Grab a notebook, a pencil, or a pen. Whatever you choose to write with is fine. This is math from the void. Math coming at you pretty much out of nowhere. And today, we have another SAT style problem. You might recognize the theme from the title here. Percentages aren't what they seem. If you haven't seen my other videos which reference the same phrase, I'll put the link in the description for a few videos that have a similar theme here. So don't just take the percentages for what they seem to be. Because this is an SAT style problem, it's pretty short. I really only want you to take about 2 minutes. That being said, it is one of the harder types of SAT problems. So even though the average time for each question should be about 1 minute and 40 seconds, some will obviously take way less, maybe 30 seconds. Some will take much more, like 2.5 minutes. This is one of the problems that will take a while, partially because you have to read it. So, without further ado, see if you can challenge yourself to answer this question correctly. And it is free response here, so no process of elimination to help you or lucky guesses available. I really want you to know how to figure this out, so go ahead and pause the video, give yourself some time to try it out. And then when you're ready, you can unpause the video, check back to see how we did it here. Now, like I said, part of the problem, part of the tough aspects of this problem include the fact that you don't have much time and you have to read the problem. So let's speed read through it. Lenny is selling watches. He wants to sell 3 watches for the same price. However, his customers negotiated him down to a discount. So he sold the first watch for a 20% discount, 80% of its value. Sold the second one for a 15% discount, that's 85% of its value. And the third one for a 25% discount, that's 75% of his value. If he made $1,800 selling the 3 watches, how much money did he miss out on due to the discounts? Now, this is the key portion. How much did he miss out on? Well, he subtracted 20%, and then he subtracted 15%, and then he subtracted 25%. Now, a common mistake is to say that he lost a total of 60% of his total earnings. That is not correct. He sold 3 watches, so this is minus 60% from 3 times 100%, which means his earnings represent 240% the value of 1 watch, right? And you could figure out how much each watch costs, and then you can try to figure out how much he should have made and then subtract. That's totally valid. But it's a little easier to notice something, that if 240 is 1,800, we want to know what is the 60%, what value is carried with the 60%. So we would write this as 60 over x. Another way to do it is that the ratio of the percentages, how much he has versus how much he lost, is equals to 1,800 over x. This is also perfectly valid. You can set up this proportion any way that you want, but I do insist on using a proportion to solve this rather than trying to find out the value of each watch, because that's not what the question asks. It just asks how much he missed out on, which was this 60% out of 300%. So let's notice that 240 over 60 is just 4. So really that means x equals 1,800 over 4, or $450. And this is exactly how much he missed out on from the discounts. Okay, so some pitfalls here. Common pitfalls are to think that he lost 60% and remains with 40%. So if you call the $1,800 40%, you're on the wrong track here. This really is 240%. If you were to get 40% here, and then you want to know what 60% is, you might just multiply it by 1.5. But obviously he didn't he didn't lose out on $2,700 and only made $1,800. That would be too generous of Lenny. I don't think Lenny's that nice, even though he did get kind of talked into some discounts here. So the tricky part of this is that you do need to combine the total discounts together. However, you're not going to remove it from 100% because 3 watches were sold. You're going to remove it from 300%. And if you'd like to find out how much each watch was supposed to be sold for, that's a nice bit of a bonus question. You can put your answers in the comments if you'd like. Other than that, I think that's enough blab out of me. I'll catch you guys next time.